Now let's take a look at our device control tab. This is where we can see our visual feedback and control our instrument and plugin effects within our live control. So let's start off and select our piano track. Now on our Touch UI, you can see 4 tabs. Now this tells us that we have 4 plugins assigned to this track. This is Auto Filter. Now if we use our Device tab, we can jump between each of the plugins on this particular track. Now we also have a Bank Select tab. Now this allows us to scroll through all the different parameter pages within each plugin. So we're in High-Low Shelf. Now we can use our Device tab, go to Fat-Low, and then we can bank through all of our different parameter pages here, see all our different filter types. So this is a really fast way of accessing the data inside each plugin. Now inside MPCX, you can use our OLEDs to see all of the visual feedback from the plugin that you're on and the bank that you select. You will see them auto update. Now to jump through other tracks, simply use the cursors, or you can go to the Touch UI and just simply press on the track. And as you can see, it's auto updating, telling us what plugins we've got assigned to each track. And then again, we can jump through the different devices available. So let's look at how we can control some of these devices. So let's just play this track here. So we can use our Touch UI and simply move the frequency up and down. Go to our resonance and you'll see Ableton Update. We can also use our Q links. So we can go into our Q link or we can double tap and again use the Touch UI to move across the frequency. Now we've got a device on and off control tab. So just simply press that and it now deactivates the device. Turn it back on. So let's jump to a third-party plugin. Here we go, we've got our trance gate and we can activate it on just by using our Touch UI, or again we can use our device on and off tab. So now let's have a look at parameter lock inside our devices. So let's jump to a vocal track, and as you can see there's 4 plugins assigned to this track. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use our device tab and we're going to jump to one of our third-party plugins. We're going to use our filter. Now to activate parameter lock, simply press the icon and it will go into a locked position. So now my Q links will only affect this particular plugin, so I can jump between tracks and I'm only affecting the plugin that's been parameter locked. So let's jump to another track and I'm still on filter. Go to some more tracks here and you can see we are locked in. Now let's take a closer look at our transport control modes inside Live Control. Now the 3 modes we have available will display key transport modes on our MPC Live NX. So if we go to Settings, and the first mode you'll see is Session, and if we turn our data wheel you'll see Arrangement and Performance. And these all offer different functionalities when selected. So let's start off with Session. Now this mode displays our tempo, which we can change with our data wheel. Then we have our phase, nudge up and down. Then we have our metronome, which we can turn off and on. And then we also have follow arrangement. So as you can see, we have arrangement playing in Ableton, and when that's selected, it will now follow. And if we turn that off, you'll see that the playhead will continue without the arrangement following. We also have our song position, so we can move this back to the start. Then next to this, we have our MIDI overdub. So when that's enabled, we can overdub over our clips, and then we have automation arm. So now let's go to our second mode, which is arrangement. So we've now selected that, press close, and now you'll see we still have our BPM, but we now have arrangement position. And then next to that, we have our loop start. So here we can move our starting point for our loop. Then we have loop on and off, and then we have our loop length. So let's make this say 2 bars. There we go, and now let's press start, and now we're looping around instantly. And if we want to move this loop point, we can simply go into our position and we can just move our start time. So now let's look at our third mode. So we press settings and this is performance. So let's just close our window. And now this offers us BPM and our phase nudge up and down. We can also use our MPC Live NX in fully standalone mode, taking advantages of all of the features using the Ableton Link protocol. This enables us to synchronize directly inside Ableton Live Control and take advantage of our MPC. So let's go to settings and we turn on Ableton Link under our synchronization. And then within Ableton, we just turn on Link and you will see one connection made between both devices. So now let's go to Live Control, start our track. And now we press main and now we're back into MPC standalone mode. And now we can put this into record and start recording drums or whatever we want directly in sync with Ableton. Let's use our MPC quantize. We'll add some swing. And the great thing about this feature is that we can utilize all of our standalone capabilities and we can still control Ableton with our live control. So let's look at using live control to record clips directly into Ableton. So I'm using a controller keyboard, an MPK Mini. So now let's go to live control. So I'm using 2 instances of Serum, which we're going to record into our clips. So let's go to our mixer. We need to arm our track for record. Now we can hear our sound. And we can also change our levels directly from here. So now let's go back over to our matrix. And let's start our track. Now to record, all I need to do is tap my empty clip. And start playing. So to finish our recording, we just tap the clip. And now we're going to quantize our clip. So we just hit quantize and you'll see all the notes snap to our grid. Now let's go to our second instance of Serum, go to our mixer, arm our track for record. And we're going to play our bass line. Go back to matrix. And now we're ready to record. We just tap our empty clip. And tap again to finish. And again, let's quantize this clip. And now they've all snapped. Now let's bring in some more clips. So to use live control, we need to make a network between our devices. So to do this is straightforward. We start off by connecting a USB to Ethernet adapter in the back of our MPC Live RX. And then we connect this to our computer. I'm using a Thunderbolt to Ethernet adapter. We then navigate to our menu, settings, and Ethernet. Our MPC will now generate an IP address creating our network. So now let's navigate over to our computer. And let's load up our Akai network MIDI driver that we've already previously installed. So once loaded, this is now searching for an IP address which has been generated from our MPC. Now this is being created, we go back to our MIDI driver and it's instantly detected the network. Now let's go over to Ableton and load up our program. Once loaded, I'm just going to load up our demo project. Now that's loaded, let's go over to Preferences and we'll go to Link MIDI and making sure that our control surface is set to Akai Force MPC and our inputs and outputs are set to DAW control. So now let's press Menu, Live Control, and now we are inside Ableton, controlling from our MPC. We can also set up a Wi-Fi network using MPC Live and X's Wi-Fi technology for live control. So we'll go to Menu, Settings, turn on our Wi-Fi, and we'll instantly connect to our network. We go over to our computer and we make sure we are on the same wireless network. Now once connected, we go over to our remote driver and you will see that we now have a new network, which is our wireless network. So now let's load up Ableton. And again, we will load up our demo project. And once inside here, we'll go back to our MPC and we go to Menu, Live Control. And now we are wirelessly controlling Ableton from our MPC Live or X. This integration really pushes the boundaries of what we can do with standalone wireless technology.